It is scary.
And
you
wonder.
They're just lobbyists. Hey, have you ever read about the Franklin case, Mr. Rowe?
The Franklin? I can't recall the Franklin case. Which case is that?
Please Google that. Just Google Franklin case, because that's about it's about not only the corruption of the entire justice system, but of the entire state, and every answer every answer is right there, how they took over Boys Town, or Google Boys Town, but Franklin, the Franklin case. Check that out.
I would do that. And let me add one other thing. Mm-hmm. During my fight against the William Morris Agency and the corruption that have occurred, I have went to law enforcement such as the FBI, U.S. Attorney Office, and let me tell you something. They turn a blind eye and a deaf ear. All of them are connected and corrupt. When I look at, and I know y'all just heard about this, Kwame Kilpatrick in Detroit just received 28 years in prison. Now, I'm not saying that he's innocent. I'm not saying that Jesse Jackson Jr., who I think received 2 years, is innocent. I'm not saying that by no means.
Right.
But what I am saying is when I see judges like Robert P. Patterson and Kevin Castile and even Henry Newkirk in Fulton County Superior Court do the things that they have done. I watched Henry Newkirk tell a plaintiff that came in his court seeking justice for being violated that you are African-American plaintiff, and you bet. He tells him, and I was present, I was asked to attend. This judge told this plaintiff, you have no constitutional rights in my court. You have no constitutional rights. I couldn't believe he would tell an American citizen that.
Well, you said, Leonard, that there's a systematic in your piece titled "Why Aren't Black People Winning Discrimination Lawsuits Anymore?" which is at the website Blue Black Dog website. You say that there's a systematic effort to eliminate as many possibilities for prosperity as possible for black people. That there's a systematic effort, despite the fact that we have a black president. Will you elaborate? Yeah.
Sure. I know you all have heard this, and I know you have, Roseanne. You have heard Republicans, especially, well, they would say, we are not for redistributing the wealth. For years, Roseanne, I wondered, and Kathleen, what do they mean by that? I don't want you to redistribute the wealth. I mean, I couldn't figure out the meaning of them saying that. But later, I found out what they were saying. And let me tell you what they are saying. Mm-hmm. No matter how we obtain the wealth, whether by discriminatory or fraudulent means, we are not giving it back.
That's right.
And we have taken control of the courts to ensure that.
That's right.
I had to find that out. So no matter how they obtain the wealth, they are not giving it back. That's what they really meant when they said that. And let me say this. They have done a lot of things in this country.
I like the way you interpreted that.
Well, it's just the truth, because you know what I had to do, Roseanne? When I saw what was happening out here, especially in the business that I have devoted my entire life to, and that is the entertainment industry. And let me say this. That's an industry that I love. That industry have taken me worldly. I have studied this business. It's an industry that I've never gotten tired of. I have worked around this country and abroad, and I had been able to make a decent living for me and my family.
Right.
But I always knew I was being discriminated against, as well as other African Americans. And it never sit proper with me to keep allowing it to happen.
What do you think about the verdict with Michael Jackson's family? They just
let me say this to you. It was a corrupt verdict. I don't know the makeup of the jury, but let me say this, and I hope this don't sound racist, because I'm not a racist, not at all. Nor am I anti-Semitic. let me say this to you. Anytime an African American person goes into a courtroom, or either a white person goes into a courtroom where their future is on the line, and you allow, if you're African American, an all-white jury to decide your fate, that's wrong. You're being tricked. If you're white and you go into a courtroom and you allow an all-African American jury to decide your fate, that shouldn't be done either. The reason being is this. An all-white jury cannot identify with the things that you have been confronted with in life as an African American. So most of the time, the compassion and sensitivity for you and your family will not be there.
And understanding, we saw that with the Trayvon Martin case where...
I was just going to bring that up, absolutely.
Well, let me say this about the Michael Jackson case. I became, and you asked me about it, Roseanne, the reason I want to get to this point. I had the opportunity to listen to the final argument of the lawyers for Miss Katherine Jackson. These attorneys argued with no compassion about what really happened to Michael. Now, I was present. I had been living in California with Michael from January up until the time he passed. I know for a fact who was guilty of his murder. I spoke to them personally and tried to get them to get some help for Michael. They told me to get lost. They didn't want to help Michael. Michael had a condition that he didn't have to die from. He could have been saved. And when they tell you that when they say that they didn't know he had this condition, it's simple. They're lying. They did know. They did know. Because I talked to them about it. I had discussions with them about it.
What condition are you talking about?
The condition about Michael being addicted to certain drugs.
I see.
And they said, we didn't know. Did he have a drug problem? We didn't know that.
Oh, my God. That's what I wondered because,
I said, were they under a rock somewhere for the past 20 years?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. But, you know, the reason I know so well, Roseanne, is because I had a conversation with them about it. And they didn't want to hear it. Michael had asked me to go over and rearrange the shows because he couldn't do the schedule that they had him doing. And when I attempted to do that, and I explained to them why he couldn't do it. And I proposed to cancel the first leg, put it behind the second leg, so Michael could get a 6-month rehab stay. They told me to get lost. They wasn't doing nothing. So that was very painful.
I think I'm sitting here. I don't know that.
Somebody else is talking now, Kathleen.
Wasn't that interesting?
It's weird. And they've had these weird sounds I've been hearing. It sounds like that. Like we're getting microwaved or something from the government.
Okay, that's so funny. We have 2 more. We have 2 more minutes.
Okay.
Well, I'll just say, I felt so sorry for Michael Jackson. I could tell, just as a person out here on this side watching, that he had a drug problem, and they got a desperate doctor. They fix. I've toured too and been in show business, so believe me, I know how things are done, and it's to protect the money, not the artist. The artist becomes the enemy, actually.
Let me leave you with this. Let me leave you with this, Roseanne, and I want you to think about this when I say it to you. The investigators knew that I was talking to Michael just about on a daily basis. They knew that I had met with the people that were charged were the people that were over his touring aspect. They knew I had met with everyone that was over his so-called management team before Michael asked me to take over. They knew that. But let me tell you what's a clear indication of a conspiracy. Not one investigator that was investigating Michael's murder or Michael's death took the time to speak to me.
Oh, well, there you have it right there.
Because they didn't want to speak to me because they knew I knew the truth.
Mr. Rowe, I have a question for you on this subject. Where is Paris Jackson? Do you know? Is she okay?
You know, I haven't spoke to the siblings much lately because I've been dealing with my court case. But I think she's there with her grandmother, Miss Jackson. But I would try to find out for you, and maybe I can let you know later.
Would you? I'm very concerned about her. I don't know why. She's always in my mind. Hey, thank you everybody for an interesting show today. Thank you, Kathleen.
We had a wonderful show. We'll have Cynthia McKinney back on to talk about the black farmers and other stuff, and we'll have Leonard Rowe back on. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Roseanne.